Dara Torres. She's hanging out with us for a little bit, and I feel like I'm so grateful to be in your presence because I know the talent that exists within you, and I've just seen so many things about you. I've read so many different articles and watched so many different series. I'm like, man, I just need to be like her. So
I think you're a pretty great athlete yourself. So
I'm okay. I'm okay. I mean, you know, I'm gonna go through some of your accolades right now, just for everybody on Stand Together Live and all the people that are following you and some people that are following me as well, because I think it's just important for people to understand the power that is within you and what you have done throughout your career. Just to kind of start off the top, as I said to everybody on, my name is Dhani Jones. I played professional football for a little bit, and you know, there's real power in bringing people together, and that's what Stand Together is truly all about, offering people a little, what I call gems, nuggets of hope, and inspiration, and encouragement, especially during these times while we sit at home, but just more importantly, just kind of throughout life, because we all need those moments of motivation. But it's not about me. It's about Dara Torres, 5-time Olympian. I said it 5 times, not 1 time, not 2, not 3. Took a break for a little bit, came back, 4 or 5. You know, I'm pretty sure she could be doing it right now. She really wanted to.
I'm an old hag, man.
No. First of all, you probably wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning. You're in the pool at 4:30. You know, then you're back in the pool at 8 o'clock and out of the pool, you know, at 9:30, and you swam a collective like 3 to 4 miles. You're like, my sister does what you do, and I'm like, I don't know how you keep it together.
Well, you know, it's funny because the football players, when I went to University of Florida, would see us on the field, and like in the middle of the day, later in the day, in the pool, and they're like, geez, and they were doing 3 days. And they're like, oh my God, you guys work way too hard. And so, yeah, in my sport, it's a year-round sport. You have to keep it up. You maybe get a couple weeks off for the year, and that's right. It. And back in the old days when I swam, when I was younger, the coaches were a little more crazy back then than they are now. So, I mean, I can go on about stories of the different workouts we did, but yeah, the training was pretty challenging, but that's kind of what you have to do to be the best.
Well, I mean, and the best you are, 12-time medalist, top female athlete of the decade by Sports Illustrated, author,
well,
entrepreneur.
You did your homework.
Well, here, look, you know, that's the power of technology. You know, you can keep your notes. And plus, I write things down. I'm old school. You want to talk about old school? You can't even read this. This is called chicken scratch notes. I am the only one that can interpret it. But I want people to tilt your screen up just a little bit so people can really see what they're, that's what I'm talking about. Corn Flakes and Wheaties boxes on the cover. That is what I'm talking about. I love that. So thank you for joining our show again. As I said, we're trying to lift people up, and we're really raising awareness at the same time for hashtag Give Together Now, which is a COVID response to helping people that are in financial and economic needs. And to this point, to this moment, we've raised $30.5 million. $30.5 million. Okay, that's a lot of money. And just awesome. To put it in a little bit of perspective, we are going to give $500, right? Because 100% of the money goes directly to those families that are in need. 61,000 families are going to get $500. I think that is, in my mind, it's just so powerful. And if any of you on the other side watching us today, Sam, Akila, my sister, there's a lot of people that are on here that I know. I'm sure there's a lot of people that on here that you know. If you go to givetogethernow.org, you can contribute. We also want to hear about your acts of kindness, because money counts, but it's also smiling or waving to a friend in need or someone that might be a passerby, and those also make a tremendous amount of impact. So go to givetogethernow.org and help as best you possibly can. At the end of our interview, okay, send in your questions, because you know you might want to ask me some questions, but she's the Olympian on her side, and we had Sean Johnson East on the show a couple days ago, and that was just amazing to hear her story and about, you know, her being home with her new baby and her husband and her dog in Tennessee and all the things that she's been able to do as an athlete. But to have you on the show is phenomenal as well. So just a quick question. I've seen all the different videos of you working out, right? I love it. You know, I'm in my front yard, in my backyard, trying to figure out how to stay in shape. I'm playing, you know, I'm makeshifting 9 holes of golf in my backyard in order to keep everybody occupied. But I guess the question is, what's the most unique item in your house that you've turned into some sort of workout equipment? Because I know it does not stop. It's like you might be hanging out watching TV and you're doing some dips. I mean, what type of unique things have you done in your house?
Well, so, you know, the way I like to give back is from what I've done in my life, and exercise has obviously been a tremendous part of my life, not just the training aspect, but also the years that I took off and trying to stay in shape. And I really feel like exercise sort of relieves stress and how you're feeling inside, but also obviously makes you look good on the outside. So,
Yeah.
So I'm a big proponent of exercise, and I'm lucky I have a small little gym in my house. So I set that up. That's like my office is the gym. And so I always make sure that I have like some type of equipment and stuff. But I know when people are home and they're stuck at home and they're quarantining that, you know, they don't necessarily have equipment. So I try to come up with creative ideas to give an exercise tip a day. I've done, I think, about 35 of them now. Just so even if you're a beginner and you're not used to exercising, or if you're more advanced, I kind of show the beginner way to do it and then get to the more advanced way to do it, and just kind of try to come up with unique ideas. I think one of my favorite places to do exercise would be either on a table that doesn't move or a chair that either doesn't move or that's up against a wall that you can do, kind of be creative and do a lot of different exercises on. So that's probably my favorite piece of furniture to do exercise on. But I also try to do things where you don't need furniture, or maybe use a broom to do something, or you use cans of food, or, you know, bottles of water. And so I try to be creative, but boy, I'm exercise number 35 today. I don't know like how many more I could try to come up with, but my brain's always going. So I try to post them on Instagram and on Twitter.
I think it's key to remember the table and the chair don't move. Okay.
Yes.
Well, everybody know that's the disclaimer. Just
you
make
don't want sliders underneath it.
Exactly. And I'd be curious to know, in terms of what you do with the broom, maybe it's just shoulder stabilization or something like that.
No. So, well, yesterday I posted something where we're doing some leg exercises, and sometimes people don't have the balance, or maybe they're not used to exercising a lot. So if they hold onto the pole or the broom, they can balance. But one of the first things I did with the broom is I took it and put it behind my my shoulder, like on my shoulders behind my neck, and I would just stand and do like crunches from side to side. And I mean, you'd be surprised at how sore you'll get just doing little movements like this. And then some you'd have where your waist is still and you move from side to side, still looking forward. And so you're working your obliques and sort of your center core. So there are some innovative things you can come up with different items around your house, I'll say.
Well, I bet that I would get sore at maybe like 20, where you might get sore at like 20,000. But that's okay. You're in a whole different class. Are you knowing that, you know, you are the Olympics? You basically embody the Olympics from the time that you got there. I mean, you just embody the Olympics. Are you bummed about or how are you feeling about the postponement of the Olympics?
It's kind of like bittersweet, because on the one hand, all the Olympians are in the same place. They all know what's going on. They all have another year to train and get ready for it. But as an athlete, you probably know that you set goals. And I'm sure, like, especially for the athletes and the kids that had 2020 as their goal, and this is the only Olympics they wanted to go to, you know, it's kind of hard mentally to sort of reset your brain and retrain that, okay, now it's going to be another year from now. I know for me personally that if this was me at 41 back in 2008 and there was COVID-19 happening, COVID-19 happening, and I would, you know, be that old, I don't know if I'd be able to come back in a year and make the team just because of my age. So I think there's some athletes are probably dreading that it's another year, but some are like, oh, hey, you know, now I get to refine my skills and get another year of training under my belt. So, but like I said, the good thing is everyone's in the same place and everyone has to sort of reset their brains to sort of reset their goals.
I'm pretty sure it doesn't matter your age. You can come back at any time. Okay. And I'm sure
I
you
don't
can
know.
smoke everybody in the pool. We'll get back to that in a second.
All right.
Because I do want to talk about swimming, but as you grew up, what was it like in your house? Because I think that a lot of people's house situation and family situation just contributes so much to where they are today.
Yeah, I grew up with 4 older brothers, so everything was competitive, and it's not like they were competing with me. It was just I was competing with them. And so everything was a competition. Who would be the first in the car, which was always me. Who would be the first to finish dinner? It was always me. And they were just like, whatever. But it was like, even if they weren't competing, I was always doing it against them. And so I think like I always had that growing up. And I remember going to the swimming pool with my mom and my brothers were swimming. And I think, back then they didn't call it ADD. It was like hyperactive. And so I was hyperactive and I was running all over the bleachers and my mom couldn't keep me still. So she was like, oh, I gotta get her in the pool too to let off some energy. So that's kind of how I started. But I really was in the mindset of whatever my brothers would do, I would do. And so that was something that I wanted to try.
How many times did they try to compete against you once you got in the pool? And how many times did you just show them up and just like walk out of the pool and just walk into the shower and just go on home and just say, I don't have time to talk to you guys. Like, you already know that I can beat you.
Well, all I could say is they didn't stay in swimming very long. I don't know if that was because of me or they just didn't like it, but they were out. One brother was surfing, another one was playing tennis, one was into girls, so they all have their different things that they like to do. But for me personally, I just really fell in love with the sport.
And it was the perfect sport for you to fall in love with. And just reading through a lot of your history, and I don't want to tell your story. That's what it's all about here on Stand Together Live, is allowing you to tell your story. It started at a very young age and it continued throughout all ages. Give us a little nugget of like the first time that you competed and you won, and last time you competed. I don't like to say last because I feel like if the Olympics were to happen, you could just decide,
No.
I'm just going to do it. I don't want to close the door on you.
What are you, nuts? No.
Oh, I know you can. I know you can win. So give us a nugget from the beginning to that last one and that time. My mom got mad at me last time when I was interviewing Nancy Lieberman because I said how old she was, and she got all on me. And my sister, who's in there, she got on me too. So I don't want to say anything about the age, but I'll let you do it.
You know what? It's okay because everyone knew I was 41 in 2008, so they can do the math of what my age is now in 2020. So anyway, I started young. I broke my first world record when I was 15. And I remember going to that meet and I had the biggest crush on Rowdy Gaines, who was swimming there too. We were on the US national team together. And I chose that meet because I know he was going to. And I mean, I was 15, he was like 21. And so I was crushing on, like, well, this is why I want to go to this meet, because I'm crushing on Rowdy Gaines. And so I go to this meet. It's in Holland and in France. And I ended up breaking a world record there. Rowdy predicted a time I would go, and I literally did it to the T right before my swim. And I broke that world record, and that's when I really felt like I wanted to try for an Olympic Games when I was 15. It was a couple years from there. It was in 84, that was in 82. And so I really sort of dedicated myself. I mean, early on, I was one of these kids that other kids hated because I didn't have to train hard and I stand on the blocks and break age group records and miss 3 weeks of swimming and still swim fast and beat everyone. And so kids hated me. And but once I broke that world record, I knew that I had to really put the time and effort in. And that's when I got really, really serious about swimming. So I made my first Olympic team in 1984, won a gold medal in a relay there, continued on to University of Florida. And then in 1988, swam in my, so I was 17 in my first one. My second one in 88, I was 21. Won a silver and bronze there and placed 7th in the 100 freestyle. Then retired from the sport. I actually had another year left of college, so I played volleyball at UF. And then I was done. I was done. I know. I was done.
Let me just go back to school and play volleyball too.
Well, I played in high school, so I knew how to play some. But it's funny because the volleyball coach said to me when I tried out, she's like, I'm not giving you a scholarship because of your athletic prowess and how great you are at volleyball, but I'm giving you a scholarship because I'm hoping that your work ethic will pay off to the other girls on the team. So that's really why I made the team, not because I was so good.
Hey, KGAAVB said she swam together with you at Westlake.
Oh, that's my high school.
And she said girls didn't hate you; they just were jealous. I'd agree. I'd agree with that.
Well, that's very nice. Well, so I swam those first two Olympics, and then I retired after college, and then I came back and swam in '92, won a gold medal in a relay, and then basically took off for 7 years. I was like, all right, I'm done. I just don't really like the sport anymore. I think you froze. Are you frozen?
Is that my? I didn't know if that was mine. I think
I was like, I see the circle go around. Like, he's frozen. I know that. Maybe everyone else can hear me.
That's the thing about technology. Technology sometimes just like goes kaput and we come back on. But that's all a part of life. And it's also a part of like your career because you stopped for a little bit and you came back.
Right.
And you came out of retirement twice. Right. And you came back to win a couple medals. And so you realize your unique gift. And that's what we talk about all the time at Stand Together. When you're very young, you took a break and you decided to come back and explore that same gift and probably see if you could do it again. Is that what happened?
Yeah. So that actually happened 3 times. So it happened the first time after college where I took like about 1.5 years off, 2 years, worked at NBC Sports and wanting nothing to do with swimming. You got to understand, I don't know what it's like with football, but with swimmers, because we're in the pool so much and our life is looking down at a black lane line at the bottom of the pool, you either, when you retire, you either do it, but you want nothing to do with the sport, or you do it and you continue on in masters and just, swim here and there. I was the type that I wanted nothing to do with it. So that was the first time when I came back in 92. But I took 7 years off from 92 to 1999 and literally never thought about swimming or making a comeback. And then I don't know, the thought got in my head. It's kind of a long story, but to make a long story short, the thought got in my head. And I thought, you know what? Who can say that they've swum in 3 Olympic Games, took 7 years off, and is 33 years old, a little hag, and should be having kids at that point? So I'm going to try this. And so about 11 months before trials, I dusted off my swimsuit, cap and goggles and moved out to Palo Alto and started training with the Stanford women's swim team and tried for a 4th Olympic team. So that was my 4th Olympics that I had tried there for that one. So it went well, won 5 medals. I don't know, and it was good.
I love it. I love it how you say it so casually. It's like, it went well. I won 5 medals. So I'm just to give people some perspective, you came out of retirement in 98. I just want to recap so that people know. 98, you won 5 medals.
99, yeah. I came out so I retired in 92.
Right.
And 7 years later, I came back to train for 2000.
And then Beijing. I mean,
yeah.
Do you have a vault in your house that just has a bunch of medals that are hanging out? I mean,
they're all tarnished.
You just have stuff. You have amazing stuff in your house. You also wrote a book, Age is Just a Number. I don't want to keep hammering this age thing, but I think it's real. I mean, even as a professional football player, we've been told so many different times, right?
My daughter just texted, by the way.
Say it again.
My daughter just sent a comment that says she has a chest. You see where it says she goes, hi, Mom.
She said, hi, Mom.
Yeah, that's my daughter. So what she's saying is that, hi, I have a chest of medals.
Oh, okay.
But Tessa, what he was asking was about the Olympic medals, not the medals I won growing up. So, yeah.
So, what's something that you did at both 15 and 41 that helped you succeed?
I think the biggest thing was listen to my body. I think when you're younger, you just sort of bounce back. You have an injury, you deal with it, you move on. It's no big deal. When you're older, like you get an ache and pain. I'm like the first one in the doctor's office, like, oh my God, my shoulder is like, yeah, that's arthritis. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm like, all right, whatever. So I go back in the pool. But it's really about being in tune with your body. And I think when
Right.
you've been in a sport for so long, you know your body like better than you ever have. And I actually went to a doctor before I decided to make my comeback to see and had my shoulders like examined and x-rays to make sure that if I was going to make this commitment for so less than 2 years for '08, that everything looked okay on the inside, and that I could do this. I didn't want to waste a year of training and then find out that, you know, I didn't have enough space in my bones. So the arthritis is so bad, so I can't do this, you know?
Right.
So I actually went to a doctor to make sure that my body was okay, that I could do this. Not to say I didn't have surgeries in those 2 years, but yeah. So it's really about recovery when you're older.
I just wonder if the doctor would have told you that your body couldn't take it, if you would have used that for motivation to go do it anyway. So I probably already know the answer to that question.
I feel like you already know me.
You're like, you know what, Doc? Thanks for telling me that, because that's good motivation for me when I go out there and I win a couple medals. And by the way, here are the medals, so thanks a lot. But in 2008, you faced a lot of life challenges. How did you focus on what you had to do athletically, and how did you not let all the rest of the things cloud your mind?
Well, you know, so at my age, it was really difficult because there were rumors going around. Oh, she's 41. How can she be doing this? She must be taking drugs, blah, blah, blah. One of the first things I thought about when I made this comeback in 2006 is, you know, I just had my daughter. And the biggest thing was, how would I balance being a mother and also being an elite athlete? And I really look to working parents out there as examples of, okay, you know, you can also do what you love to do and be a great parent. And so that was sort of one hurdle to get over. Then the rumors started after a year into training, and I was breaking American records at my age and going faster than I did when I was a teenager. And so I actually went to USADA, which is the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency. And my coach and I flew out there. We were out there going anyway for a training camp at altitude in Colorado Springs. But I went to meet with the head of USADA, which his name's Travis Tigard, and he's the guy who actually took down Lance Armstrong. And I said, look, I'm having all these rumors about me. You know, what can I do to show people that I'm doing this the right way? And he's like, keep doing what you're doing. And I said, well, you know, can you test me other ways that maybe
Right.
not out yet? And I'm like, you can do urine, hair, blood, like whatever you want to do. Just tell me what, you know, I can do. And he's like, well, let me think about it. And in the beginning of January of '08, about 6 months before Olympic trials, he picked 2 people from each sport. So for swimming, it was myself and Michael Phelps. And they had some of the top gymnasts and runners and stuff do a program where they would come for 3 weeks in the beginning of January and take about 38 vials of blood from us. And
What?
they would create a baseline and then randomly come and test us for the next 6 months and even beyond during the Olympic Games, after Olympic Games, to see if anything had kind of changed,
Right.
you know, in our baseline, to see if we were doing something we weren't supposed to be doing. And so it was really pretty cool. But, you know, my philosophy when I got back into the training again and trained for Beijing was that if Jack Nicklaus at 46 years old can win a Masters, and Nolan Ryan can pitch a no-hitter at 44, why can't a 41-year-old mom go for the Olympics?
I love that, and all the credit to you, not only in your accomplishments but also in being proactive so that they wouldn't come back at you. You're like, look, exactly. I did everything I could in order to show you and to prove to you that no, I'm doing this on my own. I did hear a little bit of there was an article that you spoke about this is getting a little too scientific, I know. That's but right. The fast twitch muscle fibers that you have actually have in your body. So you are, in essence, I always talk about this all the time. Like I say, I'm evolution. No, you are evolution. Okay. I mean, just you are a truly unique person with that unique gift. And there's a lot of people out there that are hurting right now as a result of the economic crisis and COVID-19. So we're raising awareness for those who have just joined for #GiveTogetherNow. It's a COVID-19 response, and we put money into the hands of people that truly need it. 100% of the donations go right into their hands. www.givettogethernow.org. And as much as we love to give money away to those that are in need, you have been able to support so many people. But one person that was really close to you, you kept his legacy alive by all the support that you have around cancer research. Why was it important for you to become involved, if you will, in promoting cancer research, aside from just your father?
Yeah, because it's just, I know so many people who have cancer, who have succumbed to cancer. And, my dad was obviously one of the first. My grandmother had passed away from cancer. My other ones, I wasn't born yet when they had passed, but my mom's mom had passed away in 1988 when I was training for the Olympic Games. And so when I decided to make a comeback in 2006, my dad had cancer, colon cancer, and it was first diagnosed in 2001. He had a colonoscopy when he was younger, and was like, I don't want to do that again, and never did it again. And, unfortunately, he got diagnosed and had to battle it for 5 years, and
Wow.
Started off in his colon, went to his liver, and then kind of all over. So it was really unfortunate. And I actually never told him I was making a comeback. So he didn't know that I had done that. But, I know it sounds corny and stuff, but I really do feel like he was with me when I, was making my comeback, when I was standing up on the starting blocks, because I always used to get so incredibly nervous on the blocks. I mean, it's not to say I'm not nervous right before I compete. I mean, all athletes are. But the minute I stood on the starting blocks, I just felt this calmness come, over my whole body. And I just felt like, he was with me. But, I know people right now who have cancer, and it's just really important to have that awareness and to donate money for cancer research, and just to help those people who are less fortunate and can't really, deal with it, and don't have the money to be able to deal with it, or, insurance and stuff. So it's just very important for me to get the word out about it.
Yeah. One of my good friends, his name's Kunta Littlejohn. He helped me start an organization called Bowtie Cause, and we help different nonprofits, companies, and corporations kind of tell their story. And I just found it. Now my friend's better now, fortunately, but there's so many people that have been affected by cancer, and so many different communities have all been affected. So I think it's amazing what not only you're doing around cancer research, but all the stuff that you're doing around COVID-19, and helping so many people through social media and other ways. It just, the purity of how much you love to help. Where did that all begin? Where did that all begin? Because you have this competitive household where you got 4 other older brothers that you're just trying to push them to the limit. Your mom, who you're just trying to you're on her last nerve. And then you have this, this fervor for life. Where did the passion for helping others come from?
I just think it's something that's from within. When I was younger, I was a little shit. I'm not going to lie to you. I was always getting in trouble. I got suspended from school. I was, I was just like this kid that just, was always causing trouble.
Right.
When my family would go off on vacation, I was stuck at my grandparents' house because I did something wrong. So I was always getting in trouble, and I just think I sort of outgrew that and realized sort of how precious life is. And I don't know, it's all of a sudden my heart just kind of opened, and I just felt like I wanted to help others, and it's kind of always been inside of me. And it's such a rewarding feeling to be able to not take, but to give. And it's just something I've had in me for a long time now. And I always try to act on it.
That's been the most consistent statement by every single person that has graced us with their presence, whether it's Jimmy Chin, who did free solo, or Sean Johnson, who's a Olympian as well. Everybody, Tez Bryant has said the same thing. It's opening your heart, whether D Nice is talking about love. It's just finding a way to give back as best you possibly can, because it's the right thing to do. So tell us a little about some of the workouts and some of the other things that you're doing in order to support people, because, you know, I've seen it, but other people need to know about it too.
So do you want to see it right now, or do you want me to just talk about it?
Well, we'll talk about it just for a little bit.
Okay.
And then if you have enough energy, maybe you can give us an example of some of those workouts that you do.
I always have energy, always. Okay, so I like to do some aerobic, but I'm not as like crazy about aerobic as I used to be. I have a tendency, I have a sort of a long, lean body, but if I do too much weights, I get a little bulkier and bigger. And I've been through that phase with all my swimming, and so I don't need to do that now. I like to do workouts that involve my core. I was doing something until everything happened with COVID. I was doing a workout class called Solid Core, which is the hardest workout I've ever done in my life. Like the hardest.
If you're saying it's tough, it has to be
crazy
tough.
hard. Like it's just crazy hard. And so I really enjoyed doing that. I also own a studio up in Massachusetts called The Bar Method with my business partner, Sarah. And I love teaching bar. That's always been a passion of mine the past about 4 years or so. So I like to mix everything up. It's very hard for me to do the same thing over and over again. Because as you know, if you go to a gym and you're like, oh, I'm going to go to the gym 4 days a week, you kind of get in a rut of doing the same thing over and over again, because you used to, you know what the machines are, you know what the weight is you're supposed to put on. And that's great for a little while, but then you plateau. So I try to mix things up. I try to do aerobic one day, do body weight stuff another day, do solid core one day, do bar, you know, and just mix it up so I'm still having fun, but my body doesn't plateau.
Yeah. So what about, I mean, it's amazing how you're just bringing so many people into your world. And even as I watch some of the videos, you know, you're wearing your headphones, and I imagine you're listening to some motivating tunes or maybe some other binaural beats, because, you know, you just want to be one with yourself as you're a torpedo straight through the water. But what about the pandemic made you want to activate your gifts to help other people?
That's a great question. First of all, it's incredible what you're doing, and the money you guys have raised, $30 million. I mean, that's nuts. And $500 a household. I mean, that's incredible. So kudos to you and your charity that's doing that work. It's really incredible. I feel like that just being home and being with my daughter, at least she's not on right now, so she can't hear this, but you know, and just you know, sometimes when you're around people so much, it's a lot, you know, and there's a lot of sort of tension, and tempers can go a little bit. And so, you know, for me, exercise is sort of just a way to release tension, release stress. And so I feel like a daily workout or a daily exercise is an awesome thing, because you can relieve stress. You can take time for yourself, or you can have everyone do it together and have fun. But I think a lot of people, like we just talked about, are in a rut or get in a routine when they exercise. If I can just show something for people to do once a day, you know, I feel like that may relieve stress and make someone feel better. And I feel like that was a way that I could give back, because exercise is such an important part of my life.
Well, show us some of the exercises.
Okay.
Or you can show us.
No,
show us two or three exercises that you think that we should do. Now, me, I'm kind of like glued to the seat. You know, I use super glue, and I'm like taped to the chair. I can't move, you know, too much. If I would, I'd participate. But since you are mobile, show us 2 or 3 exercises, and then I want to get to a couple questions from the audience. And for those, so while you're setting up, I'll give you a couple seconds to set up. Everybody that's out there, again, we're helping raise money for Give Together Now. Go to givetogethernow.org, and whether you give $5, $10, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the increment. All of it matters, because it's helping so many people. So go to givetogethernow.org. All right, so Dara.
First of all, I have to show you what my phone is on just to hold it. It's a toilet paper holder. And it has a
wait. That's a toilet paper holder?
Yes.
Oh, and you're not only an Olympian, you're an engineer.
Yeah. And so
you thought outside the box.
Okay, let's see if I got this now. Can you see me?
Yes. All right. So,
Okay.
Dara, you're going to take us through just a couple exercises, three
exercises
that you love that you want everybody else to do. Go ahead.
Okay. So you need either a desk or a table. I'm at a desk right now, or a chair that doesn't move. So you don't want sliders underneath it because you don't want to be moving. You got to be stable when you're doing this. So find something that's kind of heavy that won't move. You can do it on a chair as long as it's like back up against something, or you know, or if it's just a heavy chair, it doesn't move. So I like to use this sort of piece of furniture because you can do a number of different exercises. Ooh, sorry, let me see if I can just put this up a little bit. I know.
I love Instagram Live. You can do anything.
Okay, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna place your hands shoulder width apart, and the very easy exercise to do is push-ups. So if you want to work your chest, your elbows are going to go out to the side. And also, you don't want to arch your back. You want to make sure that you tuck under slightly. And if you want to work your triceps, your elbows come in towards your body. So that's two exercises right there. Now, if you want to work your core, you can again, tuck under and then slowly bring your knees up towards your chest and back down. And that will work your center core and sort of your lower core. Or you can come off to the side where your elbow's almost trying to hit your opposite arm. And that's good too. Now, one other thing you can do is dips. So place your hand on the object, walk your feet out, and just do dips like that. Very simple. So here you have 3 exercises that you can do on just one object that makes it very simple.
So how many repetitions would you theoretically do, whether you're talking about your push-ups or your tricep presses or mountain climbers? How many reps would you do? Like, so that we know what number we're aspiring to be like.
Okay, so I think if you're not used to exercising, you have to start off slow and make goals. So say you're not used to exercising, you want to do a set of 5 or a set of 10, that's great. Do it 3 times a week, then try to go up to 6 or 7 the next week. So I always talk about trying to do more and more. So I'm stuck at the house. I started off on exercises doing about 25. I'm up to 35 now in the past month. So you got to take it slow. And I do usually around 3 sets. That's usually, you know, what I do is about 3 sets, but it just depends. There's also some things that I do. You say mountain climbers, maybe do them for 15 seconds, 20 seconds, and then start adding a second or 2 every week and just see what you can do. You got to challenge yourself. You don't want your body to get used to what you're doing.
I love that. One of the things I've been doing for exercises is the 52 card workout.
What is that?
That was actually started by Ray Lewis, where you have like one suit or another suit that's a specific exercise, and you have to do the number based upon you know, like, so if you get like 2 of spades and spades happens to be lunges, you have to do 2 lunges. So, you know,
that wouldn't be enough for me.
You'd be done with that. That's it.
I'd be like, this is too easy. Next.
Well, look, all right, so we're going to get into questions in a second, but I have to show you something. I'm going to do a little split screen here.
Okay.
Remember I told you we talked a little about swimming. For those who don't know, you know, me, that was my first sport. So I wanted to show you. I'm gonna see if I can do this like I did before.
Okay.
It may be. I just want to show you this picture right here. What do you think?
Oh, looking hot.
You're like, who is that guy? And by the way, okay, just to give you a little bit of insight.
Hey, you did. Wait a second. Wait, what did you do with? How did you know to put the goggles inside the cap? I'm very impressed.
I too competed in swimming. When I was younger, I was part of Carl Burke RMSC.
Oh my gosh!
So
really?
I wanted to throw that out because I know you brightened up. You're like, oh my gosh, he really did swim.
That was great. I love it. Does this mean I have to get in a football uniform, or am I okay with that?
You know, it just means that maybe at some point in our life we might just have to, you know Summer Sanders, right?
Of course.
Ask her who won our race.
Well, what did you? Was it 1 lap or what was it?
Well, you know, we can change it up. You know, it's usually just 1 lap. So that swim cap that I had was Cullen Jones's swim cap,
I raced
him.
It said Joe. Yeah, I was like, I wonder if that's Cullen Jones. He's awesome. He was such a great swimmer.
So, yes, he's an amazing swimmer, and so are you. And just to kind of recap for a lot of people that are joining right now.
Wait, do you want a challenge, by the way, or no?
I mean, I'm always down for a challenge.
I don't know. She was a mid sort of, not really a sprinter. I'm a sprinter. I'm one lap only, so I'll challenge you if you want.
Okay, one lap. When we get out of this quarantine, I'll meet you at whatever pool.
All right.
And we'll just one lap.
One lap.
Straight ahead, freestyle. We'll go as fast as we possibly can. All right. So from the audience, there's a couple questions.
Okay.
Sport age OUS. OUS. I don't know how to pronounce that. Which sport asked you, which sport do you miss the most during quarantine and why?
You know what? I miss lacrosse, and not because I play it, because my daughter does, and I love taking her to lacrosse games. she started off swimming, and she hated it. I was like, oh, thank God, so now I don't have to sit at swim meets for like 10 hours a day. And so I'm just kidding. But I got to tell you, there are some pools when we lived up in Massachusetts that they're so small, it's like you can't even breathe inside of them. It's like, oh my God, because they were all indoors. But I miss lacrosse because my daughter loves it. And I think she's bummed because she had made a really good club team, and she was looking forward to the tournaments, and I was looking forward to taking her to that. So that's definitely one sport that I really miss, is watching my daughter play lacrosse.
Adriana Alden. Yeah, Adriana Alden asks, what workout do you suggest for upper arms? I mean, so we did talk about the bis and tris, but maybe kind of get into the shoulders or the chest or the upper back. What are some of those exercises as well?
Okay, I'm not trying to promote myself, but if she goes on my Instagram page, I did some exercises for shoulders that I used two, I think one of them I used 2 Evian water bottles, because you want them the same because you're using both arms. Okay. Another one I used cans of food or peanut butter or something. And it's kind of hard to explain unless I'm like actually demonstrating it. So if she can go on my Instagram account, she can see earlier on I did some really good shoulder and upper arm exercises that would really help her, I think.
So tell everybody your Instagram account.
Oh, Swim.
Okay, Swim Dara.
Yeah, SWIMDARA.
All right, so Tina Turner. Dara, what is your proudest accomplishment?
Having my daughter, that's a no-brainer. I know people want to know as far as swimming probably, but definitely my proudest accomplishment is having my daughter. I had her late in life. I was 39 years old. But if I were to pick something in my sport, it's very hard to pick because I don't go off of, this world record or this Olympic medal. For me, like looking back, and if you'd asked me this at 17, it would have been, this medal or whatever. But now that I'm older and sort of can look back on life and have a different outlook on my career, it would have to be the road it took to be the best that I could be. That's what I'm most proud of, and probably doing it at an older age and being able to prove people wrong that age is just a number.
And that's the title of the book. So I want to make sure I gave the book a shout out. Oh, that was that was like a softball.
I know.
Actually, sorry, it's like a volleyball. I did that on the volleyball. Love it. Look at that. Ooh, we got this 1-2 punch going.
Totally.
Before we close out, one of the things that I noticed in some of the videos that you've recorded that are on YouTube or things, there was this quote about, there wasn't a quote, it was just basically a quote about specifically success and pride and time. I feel like those 3 words embody who you are. But what do those 3 words mean to you, right? The success that you've had throughout your career as one of the greatest Olympians, the pride you have as a mom, as a woman, as a champion, and time, how you just look at it and just kind of shake your head. For those that are sitting at home right now that are trying to get through this, give them something related to those 3 words of pride, time, and success, as it means to you, means to them.
Well, I'd say for success, it's all about setting goals, no matter what you do in your life, no matter how small or how big. And I don't think I would have had success if I didn't set goals. So I think it's important in life to set goals. And it's like I said, we talked about earlier with the Olympics changing, like these athletes set these goals that okay, 2020, that's my goal. This is what I want to do, you know. So you kind of have to reset. So I think people who are bummed about what's going on, and you know, I mean, we had to close our fitness studio up north. There's a lot of changes that are going on. You sort of have to kind of reset and set new goals. And I think that's very important in order to get success. Pride is something that, for me, I think would have to do with just making sure that whatever I do in my life, that my dad and my daughter and my mom would be proud of me. And so when I make decisions in life, I mean, look, we all have made not so great decisions in our life, especially me when I was younger. But, you know, I want my dad, even though he's not here, my mom who's still here, my daughter who's still here, to be proud of me with the decisions I make. So I'm very much about pride, and I believe in pride. And then as far as time goes, you know, it is like my book, age is just a number. Do I think I could ever make an Olympic team again at my age? Probably not. But, you know, you shouldn't put age limits on your dreams. I know for me, when I was swimming and I'd dive in the pool didn't know my age. So what did it matter how old I was, as long as I was the fastest one there? So, you know, I think that, you know, time is all in your head and not how you feel.
Well, thank you. I mean, that was powerful, and we appreciate the opportunity to spend time with you through Stand Together Live. We thank you for all the efforts that you put forth, supporting cancer research and the legacy of your father, living for your daughter, and just all the accomplishments that have lifted not only, you know, those that are a part of your generation, but every single generation. You transcend generations. People talked about Tom Brady being one of the greatest, and Phelps, like, you're one of the greatest. So thank you for sharing those nuggets of hope for those that are sitting at home and helping us raise awareness around Gift Together Now. And I just wanted to give you opportunity. Is there any last words you just wanted to say to everybody before we close out?
No, well, I want to thank everyone who joined in, you know, for joining in and listening to us chat. And, you know, I thank you for everything that you're doing. And when I got the email asking if I'd come on your show, it was a no-brainer. I mean, you know, I'm a fan of yours, but more of a fan of not what you've done on the field, what you're doing off of the field. And you should be proud, and your family should be proud of everything that you're doing. And, you know, kudos to you for how much money you've raised, and hopefully how much more money you'll raise.
Well, I appreciate that. And on all seriousness, we got a race coming up. So
yeah, bring it on.
Just want to let you know that we got a real race coming up. So I hope everybody out there is feeling encouraged by Dara's message of hope, and her, you know, her strength, and as well as took some nuggets from her workouts, because I know I need to get to my workouts just like everybody else. So there's a link to Stand Together that a lot of people can follow, and you can go to gifttogethernow.org and contribute. It's in my bio, it's in Dara's bio. Remember, 100% of the contributions go to the families that are truly in need. Just a heads up, our next episode is going to be with chef and TV personality Andrew Zimmern. So I don't know if many of you know who that is, but he does eat some interesting meals on a regular basis. He's going to talk about his battles with addiction, lifting others up, and really focusing on others. And of course, we're going to talk about food. Just, you know, food's good. And that show is going to be tomorrow, April 22nd at 3 p.m. Eastern. Dara Torres, Olympian, mother, champion, thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to competing against you once we get out.
Bring it on.
All right. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Thank you.